Kind of go back to the beginning. I was a front office manager in the late 80s and revenue management at a luxury independent hotel, happened to be the Charles Hotel, which is in Cambridge, Massachusetts, beautiful hotel. But it was part of Interstate Hotels, and it was the only independent hotel at Interstate at the time. And most of our hotels were Marriott's. Marriott decided that they were going to follow the direction of revenue management. And so Interstate, as a Marriott hotel franchisee, decided to follow the same path. And because I was at the only non-Marriott hotel, we did it that way as well. So I started out in revenue management kind of at the beginning of revenue management. I was a recipient the first time Smith Travel sent star reports. I got a star report. It was one page. It's changed quite a bit since then. And then after spending some time in revenue, then it became necessary, because revenue had moved out of operations and into sales, it became necessary for me to cross-train in sales. And so I spent some time in sales. I was pretty successful because I had been a housekeeping manager and a front office manager, so I had amazing product knowledge. I wasn't a great salesperson to start out with. Those are skills I had to learn, but I still was able to be successful because I knew hotels quite well. I did that. I was sales manager, and then I did had a couple of opportunities to be a director of sales and marketing. So I went to the Marriott. I moved from Boston to San Francisco, and I ran sales and marketing at the Marriott Fisherman's Wharf for a while. Super high demand transient hotel, so very relevant hotel for me in terms of my revenue skills. And then I was able to kind of learn the group and catering side, which is a lot smaller there. From there, I moved to a hotel in Phoenix, and then a hotel in Oklahoma City. That was my last property level job. My hotel won Hotel of the Year from the American Hotel Lodging Association the year that I was in Oklahoma City. And then we also won Sales Team of the Year for Interstate, and then I was promoted to a Regional Director of Revenue Management at Interstate. I ran the West Coast of Interstate Hotels from a revenue management perspective for 3.5 years. And then I left them and I went to work for a company called Logian, which exists now as a REIT but doesn't manage their own hotels any longer. I only did that for about a year. Another third-party manager, so a lot of brands, again, a lot of Marriotts, a lot of Holiday Inns, a lot of Hiltons. Then I moved to the West Coast. I went to work for a company called Sunstone Hotels, which was a major owner-operator of the same types of hotels, Marriott's, Hiltons, Holiday Inns, Sheratons, and those kind of things. That company went public, which was pretty fun while I was there. And incidentally or coincidentally, because they went public as a REIT, if you know anything about the structure of a REIT, REITs don't manage their own hotels, and so all of the management contracts were sold to a management company, coincidentally Interstate Hotels, that I had started my career with. I worked for them for about 1.5 years, and then they started to realize that there was some economy of scale, that they could consolidate some of their above property operations, and they came to me and gave me an opportunity to accept a package, and I left there on great terms, and had the opportunity as a result of their generosity to start my own business. So I started a company called Hotel Revenue Resources, which is a provider of software and revenue management services to the industry. I did that for about 4 years. I figured out that running a company is not for me. I didn't really enjoy that. I really would rather be a high-functioning member of a team than the captain of a team. And so I had a chance to take advantage of the fact that my mother was retiring. My mother was an IT director with Walt Disney, and so my mom moved into the president's role of Hotel Revenue Resources. All the other employees stayed, and I left them and moved to Philadelphia and ran revenue management for a company called Hersha Hospitality Management, which once again is Marriott's, Hilton's, the same kind of thing. I did that for about 3.5 years, and then a really cool opportunity came to get involved in a little bit different part of the business, and so I became the corporate director of revenue management for Apple Leisure Group. Apple Leisure Group is a bunch of companies all owned by one company, a hotel company called AM Resorts, which is about 75 all-inclusive resorts, mostly in the Caribbean and Mexico. But also coincidentally, they own 2 OTAs, cheapcaribbean.com and Apple Vacations. They own a major tour operator, Apple Vacations, and they also own a destination management company called Amstar. So I got kind of exposed to all those different pieces. I chartered over 500,000 airline seats a year in that job, so I learned a lot about how fuel cost affects revenue management, for example. It has a big impact. And my main job there, working for the parent company, was to make all of those companies play nice together. When you own an OTA and a hotel company, you have the fantastic opportunity to kind of leverage both of those and have really, really good customer distribution, but you also have to be careful that those two companies don't beat each other up and beat all the profit out of the transaction. So I did that. I started then doing some consulting with EHL on their online masters, which led to a relationship with the gentleman who was the dean at the time, and that's when I moved out of operations and into academics.